But first, we start with the high-stakes meeting between President Trump and the president of Ukraine today at the White House. And it comes after President Trump spent days attacking President Zelenskyy. Some of the comments appearing to surprise President Trump.
A situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, essentially martial law in Ukraine. A dictator without elections. Zelenskyy better move fast or he's not going to have a country left.
Do you still think that Mr. Zelenskyy is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
So that last exchange was during President Trump's meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer yesterday. NewsNation's Kelly Meyer has more on this apparent about-face. Kelly, I know you were in the room yesterday in the Oval Office. What can we expect out of today's meeting between President Trump and Zelenskyy, you think?
Yeah, and that right there was an interesting moment in the Oval Office yesterday. If all of this is any indication, though, Markie, certainly we don't know what to expect today when those two leaders meet at the White House. We're just hours away from that first meeting between President Donald Trump and President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Since Trump's comments calling him a dictator without elections and accusing Ukraine of starting the war, Zelenskyy had also fired back at Trump, saying he was living in a Russian disinformation space. He's here to sign that rare earths and minerals deal, and that deal would see Ukraine send revenue from its minerals resources to a fund that's jointly controlled by the U.S. to repay some of the billions in aid the U.S. has sent over to Ukraine in the last 3 years of the war. Now, Trump's economic advisor told me he thinks it could bring in more than $20 billion to the U.S., which he says would then help pay down the deficit. Underscoring just how crucial this aid is to Ukraine, though, Zelenskyy said Wednesday that it is important that the U.S. support is not stopped, adding strength is needed on the path to peace. Now, President Trump has seemingly been cozying up to Russian President Vladimir Putin, but when pressed on his relationship with the Ukrainian and Russian leaders, Trump sang Zelenskyy's praises.
Will you take the opportunity to apologize to him for calling him a dictator while praising Vladimir Putin, who is a dictator?
I think we're going to have a very good meeting tomorrow morning. We're going to get along really well, okay? We have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him. We've given him a lot of equipment and a lot of money, but they have fought very bravely, no matter how you figure it. They have really fought.
There's also the question of security guarantees after the war. Like, will the U.S. send a peacekeeping force to maintain the borders to ensure Putin won't invade again? Trump says he thinks Putin will keep his word. Markie.
Yeah, big day ahead here. And also, Kelly, yesterday's meeting with the British Prime Minister, I mean, that made headlines beyond just the president's comments about the Ukrainian leader. What more can you share with us?
Yeah, a lot in that meeting in the Oval Office between the UK Prime Minister and President Trump when we were there yesterday, from an invitation right off the bat to a second state visit with the King of England to questions over the federal job cuts, especially for our veterans, and then the question for NewsNation on the border. So for about 30 minutes or so, Trump took questions. He says he will be visiting England soon for that state visit and state dinner. When asked if he was tracking how many veterans were fired by DOGE, he said he is tracking that and hopes it will be a small number as possible. And when we asked him if he feels private deportation forces are necessary to help at the border, the president told us no.
Mr. President, former Blackwater CEO Eric Prince was on our channel NewsNation. He was talking about his proposal to use private forces to assist in deportations. Have you read that proposal, and do you support it?
No, I haven't seen it. I don't think it's necessary. Our people are doing a phenomenal job. I wouldn't be opposed to it necessarily, but I'd go to our military people.
And President Trump also planning to hit Canada and Mexico with those 25% tariffs this Tuesday, he says. That's because the fentanyl is flowing into the U.S. from those borders, the Trump administration is saying. He was asked yesterday in the Oval Office about the less than 1% of fentanyl from the U.S. has been apprehended at the Canadian border specifically, so why hit Canada with those tariffs? Trump says because they should be apprehending much more. Markie.
Yeah, busy few days ahead here and a busy weekend as well. Kelly, thank you so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.